They don't care. Okay, top 5 Big Ten NFL draft prospects, and I want you guys to tell me what this list is lacking when I get to the end of it, and it will make a point that I think is pretty interesting. Number 5. Kalen King, quarterback, Penn State. One of the best defensive backs in the country, fits in a bunch of different systems. Penn State's defense was fantastic this year. Not the reason they lost any games that they lost. Their offense was the deal. Kalen King, probably a top 35 to 40 draft pick, depending on the service, but it is a heavy draft for defensive backs, but he is one of the best ones and someone who could be, I think, maybe a plug-and-play corner in the right system. Number 4, Jer'Zhan Newton, a big hog molly defensive tackle from Illinois. This guy is a space eater. He's probably a top 15 pick. He might drop out depending on how the quarterbacks things shuffle out, but probably the best defensive tackle available when it comes to that position. There's other defensive ends, but Jer'Zhan Newton from Illinois, someone that I do think will get picked really, really, really high. And I would think he doesn't get past the Bears at 8 or 9, wherever they are in that second pick.
So is this all positions?
Yeah, all positions. Okay. All positions. Yeah, top 5 overall draft prospects in that conference. Number 3, Olu Fashanu from Penn State, a second Penn State guy, left tackle, big dude, top 10 pick, maybe a top 5 pick depending on how that shakes out. Road grader, he's a tackle, he's not a guard, someone who's going to protect the blind side more than likely, and a team like say Tennessee that really needs that. Wouldn't be surprised to see him or Joe Alt from Notre Dame be their pick. But Olu Fashanu from Penn State just knocks people in the dirt.
Yeah, I mean, he's part of why I asked, because you had a Penn State guy so early, and then I figured that might be the only one since we're talking about such a large conference. But nope, here he is. Yeah, that's why I was asking that to see if he was going to be on this list, because he's somebody that I've seen mentioned in a lot of top 5, top 10, as you talked about, type of mock situations. So, yeah, he's going to be going early on day 1 based on everything that's been put out there so far.
Number 2, and this is a guy I love. He is the personification of everything Kirk Ferentz. Cooper DeJean, cornerback, safety, defensive back. Returns kicks. He does everything. This dude, to me, has like Pittsburgh Steeler written all over him. And it's not just because of the black and gold, but just the way that he plays. He's got that kind of, just defensive, he just hits you hard.
Has a nose for the football.
Nose for the football.
Yeah.
He's the ball player, and he's a super athletic ball player at that. And he's actually my favorite player on this list overall. But he's not the best one, who is going to be obvious. But Cooper DeJean from Iowa, I love watching this kid play. As a matter of fact, they wouldn't have won half the games they won if he wasn't there. And they actually went on a bit of a little losing streak after he got hurt this year and was out for the rest of the year before they figured it out at Iowa.
Yeah, I mean, he's a special type of talent. He's a guy who can do pretty much everything, anything that you ask him to do, and be very effective to exceptionally good at it. So, yeah, he's a lot of fun to watch. For all the knocks on Iowa's defense and all that, they do have really special players, or not Iowa's offense. They have really special players on defense, and they are so fun to watch defensively, even though the other side of the coin is like as bad as it gets, it feels like sometimes. But yeah, I don't know. Like, what would happen if they had an offense that could score 28? Would the defense just flounder? Would it fall off the rails because it? You know what I mean?
Let me ask you a question. Do they have an offensive coordinator yet?
No.
They still don't.
Paul Christ has been mentioned for that.
But if they would have scored 28 points a game, they'd win the national championship.
But I get that, when you were doing the old the Art Briles offense, and you were scoring 60 points a game, is how it felt at least, that, your defense was going to get tired. That's understandable. That's logical. And that's the downside to a lot of those up-tempo offenses, and that's why it had to be tweaked, was because you were leaving your defense out there on an island and exhausted. But, scoring just some points, would that really change the effectiveness and just the incredible ability of that Iowa defense to be as stout as they are? I've wondered about that.
Yeah.
Because I'm not talking about scoring 50 a game. just score some points to help them out.
You wonder what would happen if they averaged 20 points a game. They probably average, 16?
Yeah, do they then give up like an extra touchdown per game? Is that what the result of that would be? Because
I really don't think so.
Right. So it
because
just doesn't make any sense.
You're not going to be.
It's not like the defense is out on the field all the time,
Right.
because if they scored, it would still be 12 plays, 75 yards, taking 8 minutes off the
That's
clock.
the part that confuses
Yeah.
the hell out of me. It's
Yeah.
like nobody's asking you to be like the Veer and Shoot Kings, and score 60 per contest, but just something to help out your defense would seem to lead you to winning, maybe the couple games that you didn't win, and they're so good without having any help really on that side. That's just what's really confused me.
Run an RPO. Like there's no run or pass option. You run or you pass.
Yeah.
Like that's the play. There's two types of plays. Yeah. There's not a play that could be two things.
But I wonder that in my head of like, is there a downside to scoring just a little bit more that I'm missing out here? Because otherwise it just is very confusing. But yeah, Cooper DeJean's a great player amongst many great players on that Iowa team.
And number one, Marvin Harrison Jr., wide receiver, Ohio State. He'll be the first non-quarterback taken in this draft, however that falls through. So, by the way, the Bears interviewed Cliff Kingsbury for their offensive coordinator position today.
Saw that, yeah.
Whether they hire him or not, I guarantee you they asked him several questions about Caleb Williams.
Sure.
So that's one of those, kind of convenient draft things you can do right now. But Marvin Harrison Jr. at Ohio State, everybody saw him. Like he was really their offense this year, and he was because Abuka, was hurt for a lot of it. Now he's a really fine receiver himself, and will probably be in this position to be a first-round pick next year because he's coming back. But Kyle McCord might not even get offered to go to Syracuse if not for Marvin Harrison. I don't know, because that was the bailout guy, and he was fantastic all year long, and he's one of the best college receivers to come out in the last couple of years.
Yeah, no, he's a really special talent. We've kind of been seeing his road to the NFL draft now for a couple of years, so not surprised that he's at the top of the list because he's just been kind of pegged for that for a while now. Just incredible athlete, talented player, and somebody's going to get a really good wide receiver. Excited to see what he does on the next level. But was fun to watch there for a little while in Columbus.
Thank you to all of you. Is that it, Paul?
Yep,
great
that's it.
stuff. Thanks to everybody that's been a part of the chat today, and also the comments we brought up.